Hello everyone, and we welcome you to this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Thera Martin Milling, and so glad to have you with us again here at Studio 56. I call it Studio 56, LaSalle TV 56, also seen on Verizon Fios channel 36. Today on the program, we're going to do something really special. We're going to dedicate the whole show to one organization that is making a humongous difference in North Philadelphia. I'm talking about the Mercy Neighborhood Family Center. And so we're going to be putting the spotlight on Sister Ann Provost, and we're also going to be talking with the Director of Communications from Mercy, and his name is Stephen Ziegler. I want you to stay along for this great show. Coming back at you in just a moment. All right, here we go, ready to jumpstart this program and get going with it. A great show for you today. We've got Sister Ann Provost here. Sister, thank you so much for coming. Glad to have you. And we have Stephen Ziegler here, and we're glad to have you with us as well.
Thank you, Thera.
Yeah, talking about Mercy. What a wonderful story. From the first time I met you, I was convinced this is a story that needs to be told everywhere. And I don't know if you'll recall or not, Sister Ann, but just prior to the Pope coming to town, I said, oh, I wish we could get him to come over here and visit and see what you've done.
Yes.
So we're talking about a beautiful building on Venango Street in North Philadelphia, and this is where you operate. Tell our viewing audience a little bit about the story of the building itself, because it was an ugly eyesore for a minute.
Yes. Yes, we had served in the community since going way back in one form or another as Sisters of Mercy from the 1970s or even before, through education and some social work. And in 1993, a number of the parishes were closed and some of the services were no longer operative. So there was a group of us that asked to stay and to continue to serve the people. So we were doing that individually. And then in 1997, the Sisters of Mercy called us together and asked, would we form an organization that would bring stabilization to respond to the needs of those in our community.
And we're talking about North Philadelphia.
North Philadelphia, particularly the Tioga area.
Yes.
We're located at 20th and Venango. For those years, early years, we were functioning out of 19th and Atlantic, using the buildings that were there.
Yes.
But so we came together in 1997 and we formed an advisory board, we did a strategic plan, and it became evident that if we were to achieve our goal, we would need to have our own space. So we looked around.
Started looking around. Let's
walking
hear.
every month we walked
the neighborhood.
a 12 block radius, if you will, looking for a building that we thought would be suitable. And we did have our eye on this building, but it really was not at that time for sale.
It's like a factory. It's huge.
Oh,
it's a huge building.
It's huge.
Right.
The entire property is about 33,000 square feet. The building itself would be about 29.
Okay.
We have the nice yard out front, which takes a part of that. So we were able to purchase the building in 2005, and then we began to talk about the design. So we did interviews with architects, and Brower and Hotman Architects presented to us the idea of doing a LEED building. So we didn't know a lot about that, and they explained how environmentally friendly it was and all of the wonderful things that it would bring as far as both environment but also health-wise, which was our main concern. We're very interested in the environment, but it was how do we provide the best for the people that we serve.
Yes.
And so we were able in 2008 to actually begin the construction with the Sullivan Company, and they did achieve our goal, our design, which was done as part of a charrette. When you do a LEED building, you do a charrette. and we had 60 people, parents, neighbors, stakeholders, some of the boarding home owners, because we were serving boarding home people.
Yes.
And they came together with the proper disciplines of construction, and we designed the interior of the building. So we, Monday and Tuesday of the week, we were in 3 groups, so we had 3 ideas, of course. Wednesday, we presented it at a large community meeting of over 100 people. They said what they liked and didn't like. Thursday, we put everything together, came up with the design of the building.
Cool.
Friday, brought it back to the community, and they tell me the miracle is we actually were able to build it. And so
Wow.
it was a wonderful experience, and from that moment on, the community in general owned the building. It was theirs because they helped design it.
That is
And so we began the construction of it, the renovation, I should say. It was
because you all
certainly a
gutted
large
it out
building.
completely.
Totally. And it was just in terrible condition. People couldn't believe that we thought we were going to actually achieve this. However, we did. And so in 2009, January of 2009, we were able to move all of our programs into the building. And we started our child care, which at that time was just before and after school. We had been licensed for 52 children in our old site. Our new site was licensed for 100. And we filled up quite quickly. Quite quickly.
Great.
We have an adult day program, which was an outgrowth of a program that we had been running in our old site for the boarding home residents in our neighborhood. We have a large number of boarding homes in our neighborhood. And so we were able to license that and bring that program up to another level. And then we were able to really initiate or grow from a very small adult education program that we had been running, like 1 or 2 students, to a more formalized program at that time.
Well, let me just tell you that when I think of your building, the building itself, I think about airy, spacious, friendly, family, warm, colorful, cheerful, loving, just a wonderful, wonderful building that is just so great for that community. I'm almost jealous, like envious, like that should be around the corner from my house where I live, and so much good stuff going on in there. So you've got a community room. It's open to community groups to come and do events on Saturdays or meetings in the evenings, political education, health fairs, job fairs, whatever it might be. And then you have the daycare. You have the older adults day program. And you said largely the older adults who are there during the day are coming from some of the boarding homes?
No longer. Most of them do not. Most of them now are families. It is a licensed adult daycare. And that means when there is a elder in the family who is 60 or above that would be eligible to be in a nursing home, but the family chooses to keep them at home, but the caregiver needs to work or needs to maybe even take a break, that they can come to us for the day. Most of our clients, or about 2/3 of our clients, are approved by Philadelphia Corporation of Aging so that they qualify for the government funding. The others are private pay. So we take both. We don't make any distinction. And we also are not bound by any restriction as far as Philadelphia. We can take people from all over. But Vera, what you said is what the feeling you get when you come into our building is echoed by many people who come in. That it is, as you said, a LEED building, so all of the natural light, there were 5 skylights in the building which we were able to reopen, and they put in these, what they call light monitors, so that the light comes from the north or from the east, so we're not getting the hot sun. The children are in the front of the building, which is a lot of glass in those big old manufacturing windows. Children learn better in natural sunlight. And so we have our children in that area because at that time they were all coming after school. Since we moved into the building, the second year we were there, parents asked if we would consider preschool. So we thought, all right, we would take one of the conference rooms, and we would think 20 children, 2 teachers were good to go. We had 33 children. Today we have 60.
Wow.
We have
growing.
two Head Start classrooms with 20 each. Then we have our own preschool, which follows basically the same curriculum. But we have some 2-year-olds, and then we have some children that do not qualify for Head Start. And so we run our own so that we don't lose any families within the neighborhood.
Okay, all right. Well, I want your PR man to
Yes,
jump
Steve.
right in here.
Okay.
And oh God, when I first saw the brochure from Mercy, I was like, wow, this is fabulous. I wonder who did it. Honest to goodness, that was because that's how I think. I mean,
Yes.
working for Ron Hinton at Allegheny West Foundation and always trying to think of ways to make that nonprofit look
Yes.
good and the things that I would like to do for Allegheny West Foundation. And I saw your brochure and I'm like, wow, they've got a budget. You know, this is beautiful. But also your website and things of that nature. That's what
Yes.
you do, right?
Yes, and we do have a budget, small budget, but we have a budget. But that is what I do. And coming to Mercy last year, having worked in development and marketing for about 6 years prior, right after I left LaSalle, it was time for some marketing changes at Mercy and some updates because, as Sister mentioned, the programs had grown so much. And their focus, Sister's focus, our program director Barbara Coleman's focus was on the programs and growing that. Now we're at a point where, yes, our programs are still growing, but we need to be more visible in the public eye. And that's why you see those brochures.
Got to be able to market yourselves, right?
We do, we do.
It helps tell the story.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we've been able to make more connections that way as well. People are starting to recognize it. Well, anytime I go out and mention Mercy to people who are familiar with us, they first mention Sister Ann, of course.
Yes.
And then they understand the work that we do. But just Philadelphia being that small town, big city feel, we're trying to really elevate our visibility. And our theme this year is Mercy for Philadelphia, all of Philadelphia. Because I think where we are located and the community is fabulous and the people that come to our center are great. They're all looking for something more. And unfortunately, to the general public in the city, it really is like a tale of two cities, and they don't know what's going on in Tioga. I didn't before I worked there. So it really is, it's a beacon, an oasis, whatever word you want to use, that they all accurately describe Mercy.
Right. Well, I hope that you'll be there for a good while to come to continue to put the stories out and to let people know how wonderful Mercy is and the great work that's going on there.
Yes.
You're doing some fundraising or
We
some
are.
other kind of resource development for Mercy?
We are at multiple levels. Every year we do run an annual campaign as any nonprofit would. We also work with multiple foundations.
So, like, can people select you through their United Way campaign,
They
stuff
can.
like that? Is there a number that they should look for, or just look up the whole name Mercy Family Center?
You can look us up through Mercy Neighborhood Ministries, through the United Way, and also the combined federal campaign. If you're a government employee, that's essentially the government's United Way.
Isn't this the time of year when they're doing that now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Okay.
thank you.
Great. Okay. Say that again.
Yes. You can make your donation anytime.
Okay.
But that's a huge chunk of what we do in terms of our budget as an organization is about $1.2 million per year. A little less than half of that comes from development. Probably close to three quarters come from the programs that we run.
Okay.
So.
Listen, I want to say to my viewing audience, I have two LaSalle graduates here. Mr. Steven Ziegler is an undergraduate from LaSalle University and proud of it. And then we have Sister Ann Provost, who is a graduate of the master's degree program here at LaSalle. So we are going to shine on LaSalle and talk about why you should register to be a student at LaSalle too when we come back. As we continue to focus on Mercy Family Center, we also want to talk about LaSalle and the great education that you can get right here. If you're smart like these two folks, you'll sign up and be a student at LaSalle. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
My name is Caitlin. I'm 6 years old. I like to go to the beach with my cousins. When I was a baby, I was very sick. And then I got a liver transplant from my organ donor. He saved my life.
This gift of life was made possible by an organ donor. Imagine what you could make possible. Sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Hello, everybody, and you are watching News You Can Use on Comcast Channel 56, or you might be watching it on Verizon Fios Channel 36. I'm your host, Thera Martin Milling, and I am so glad to be with you today. We wanted to just take the whole show and dedicate it to talking about the Mercy Family Center, but it's Mercy Neighborhood Ministries Family Center. I'll put the Family Center in there. Anyway, but it's a great place in North Philadelphia that is one of Philadelphia's best kept secrets that we don't want to be a secret anymore. In fact, it's the kind of place where if, you know, Barack Obama was coming to town and he called me and said, Thera, look, I want to see some unique kind of things that are happening in an urban city that we maybe can duplicate around the nation while I'm still the president and get a few more things done. I would suggest to him that he come to Mercy. Because if you can take an old, ugly eyesore and gut it out and find funding and people who have a vision like you do to transform it into something beautiful that you can pump life back into and make for the community, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So people need to duplicate it all over, first of all.
Yes.
Yeah. But I want to talk a little bit about some of the other things that we didn't get to in the first segment on the show about Mercy. Now, you did mention that there are GED classes?
Yes, we have a large GED program. We have about 50 learners right now. And
any age group or?
Any age group. They have to be over 18.
Okay.
They have to be over 18. And they go the whole gamut of age from younger, maybe 20s to older.
How long, what's the length of that GED program?
It's individual.
Okay.
Everything that we do with the GED student is on an individual basis. They come in, they're interested, we evaluate what level they are at, and then we assign them a tutor. Okay. And then they work one-on-one until they get to a point where we feel they may be comfortable in a class, but no class would have more than 4 to 6 in at the most. And that goes for each subject. So they may start with English, or they may start with the reading as they're combined now in testing. Then they may move on to the math once they've mastered that, and then the science, and then the social studies. So,
and just a little word to the wise for people who may be watching this program right now and who may want to very well come and sign up at Mercy to get their GED, to do their studying there. It's different now. It's changed from the way it used to be. It's not all sitting there and using a pen and paper and pencil anymore. Everything is computerized.
Yes.
And that's not to scare anybody, but it's just to tell you what's up.
Yes, and that's one thing. We have a very nice computer lab, as you know, so that we can we work with them first individually, as I said, paper and pencil, till we're comfortable. Then we can introduce them, because many times that's what we're doing, introducing them to a computer. And so they can get comfortable with that, then they can go on and do the lessons on the computer. But they need to be comfortable with a computer, which is another struggle for many of the people that come to us.
Absolutely.
They don't have that.
Now, we're in the month of November
Yes.
as we're taping this show. It's the beginning of the month, but we're coming up quickly towards the end of the year, and the holiday season is upon us. And I understand that Mercy does a very special December event for
Yes.
the community.
Yes.
Yes.
Steve, you want to talk a little bit about it?
Thursday, December 12th, we'll have our second annual Christmas festival and tree lighting. We bring the whole community out. We had some great support last year from Perform RX, the Bob and Mindy Cohen Foundation, and John Ermilio were our sponsors for that event. But the community comes out. We have a bake sale. Everyone brings an item, and you know, it's almost like a traditional cakewalk situation. We also had some sponsorship from Saxby's Coffee last year, so it's just a really nice event. We have hot chocolate. Santa Claus makes an appearance. We have some music, Christmas carols, and it's just.
You all didn't tell me about the party last
Yeah,
year. I
it's-
missed the party. So now
now
this
you know.
year, I got to write this one down on my calendar. I love stuff like that. So it's outside. A lot of it is outside. The tree part is
The
outside.
tree part is outside. That's how we'll end the event, and that'll start at, the event starts at 6 p.m.
cool.
and we end at 8 with the singing outside and the Christmas tree
Very
lighting.
nice. That sounds good. So this is something that the community can get involved with. They can volunteer. They can purchase. They can
volunteer
make baked
cakes.
goods.
They can
and
Bring a cake, show up, sing
Yeah.
a song.
Just have some fun.
Yep, just have
Yes.
some fun.
that
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
marvelous. That
It,
sounds
it was
marvelous.
I think it was one of the nicest things we did last year that just brought even our families. We have 140 children that come in, probably 160 because some of the
Yes.
preschool leave at 3 and the after school come in. But it brought them together for no other reason except to celebrate something with their children.
Yes.
And
Good.
it was a wonderful experience, and the whole front yard was filled with people to light the tree. And then anytime you ride down Van Engle Street, there was the
There
tree.
was the tree.
And it was always a reminder
Very
of,
nice.
of that. So
Very
it was
nice.
a wonderful event.
Then there's a STEM program, STEM. Tell our
Yep.
viewing audience what the STEM program is and explain how it's unrolling at Mercy.
So STEM is really more than a buzzword in education, but it is a hot topic right now, and it's science, technology, engineering, and math. We're bringing this to Mercy with partnerships through vendors who can provide those services, but we're also receiving a grant. We're set up to receive this grant, I'm sorry, from the National Recreation Foundation, which is big for us. It was a connection through our board members. And what this will do is give our students hands-on learning in the after-school program in those areas. In the area of science, they're going to do environmental science, engineering and technology. They're actually going to work with drones. They're going to build some rovers, construct some air conditioners, things like that. For math, we're going to work on financial literacy with them. And this will be a program that will officially start in March, but we've actually begun the work now with William Penn Charter School. Volunteer students have a STEM lab at their school already, and they bring their services to organizations like Mercy and other schools to work after school once a week to get our students accustomed to that program. And with Philadelphia right now is the 5th leading STEM workforce city, so it
Good to
really
know.
ties our entire mission together.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. So if people want to know more information about it, they can walk in or they can call or...
Walk in, call, visit mercyneighbors.org. That's our website. That's the hub for everything, and check that out.
Okay. All right. Now, what else would you want to share about your beautiful building or about how people can be engaged in the building before I pick your brains about LaSalle University and the great educations that both of you got here?
I think it is truly a hub for the family, and it is one of the few intergenerational programs that are in the city that we've been able to find. Our youngest are 2 years old in our preschool. Our oldest is 105 in our adult daycare, and we go the gamut in between. We are open to the entire community. We do have a Key Spot. We're a Key Spot partnership with the public library, so from 1 to 5 every day, they have a staff person that will do one-on-one with people if they come in to learn computer or do resume, whatever. Our adult ed continues to grow. We're looking to really evolve that more to workforce development so that the next step, once they have that GED, we can get them started into something that will really allow them to grow into some type of work that they will enjoy and be able to do and will sustain them. The building itself is one that the most exciting part of the day is between really 4:30 and 6 when all the parents are coming in and to pick up their
exciting
children.
or crazy part of
Well,
the day.
a little of each. And then you have the CCT drivers coming in to pick up the seniors. But it's just a wonderful experience of community and people being proud that they have a nice place to bring the person they love, child or elderly. And that creates such a positive attitude. It does carry out.
Tioga United,
Yes.
that Verna Tyner, she talks about Mercy all the time. She talks about Sister Ann Provost all the time and the great things that she has witnessed happen there. And I think Tioga United has sort of walked with you all the way along this process.
Right. In the years that it took us to not only be able to then to purchase the building, but then to reach the point where we could begin construction, they were wonderful. They supported everything. They watched the building for us. They assisted us through whatever avenues we had to go with. They were right there for the zoning, for everything that we needed to go through. And to this day, they continue to support us. I feel that more or less we partner with them. They're the lead community organization in our neighborhood. And so we try to work with them as much as we can and get some guidance from them as to what do they see the needs are. Our mission is to serve the people of North Philadelphia, but to continue and be willing to make whatever change is necessary as the needs change.
Okay. In 20 seconds or less, LaSalle University, why do people need to come here?
To explore. And the time I had here at LaSalle was great. I did my undergrad in 08, master's in 11, and all communication straight through. From the interpersonal to my favorite film, it's just, it was a wonderful experience.
That's what's up. And you, Sister Ann Provost.
Many, many years ago, I came here for summers to get my master's degree. And it was not only a wonderful education, but it was a wonderful atmosphere of growing together, learning together. And the professors could not have been more willing to assist us in whatever we needed to do.
That's what's up. Well, congratulations again for being so smart to come to LaSalle. I love it. And thank you for coming to be a guest on my show today, News You Can Use. We'll be back next time. We're going to shine the spotlight on veterans. Stay with us for another edition of News You Can Use. Meanwhile, have a great day, everybody.